being recorded. Okay, we're on, we're live. Yep.
So what do you do? Meeting opened up?
Lynn's neighborhood meeting has been started for a few minutes. We had a piece of business to approve expenses for Morgan Carpenter paying for the last 2 years of the Zoom account. Some discussion on recovering PayPal for the LNA, and that's the current up to speed events.
And then the motion got approved to reimburse Morgan Carpenter for the full $300 for the 2 years of Zoom.
Motion to reimburse Morgan Carpenter fully was approved.
Excellent, thank you. So, let's see, LNA treasurer report. The United Balance Act to get the latest and greatest sheet. I didn't have time to update it. We're sitting at around, we spent around $65 for the meeting. We had the general meeting last month to approve the, to try to get the approval for the bylaws revision from the general membership. We didn't have enough people for the quorum, and Mary was nice enough to go out and get food for everybody, and she got reimbursed for that, and we approved that earlier. So Mary's been reimbursed. Thank you for doing all that, Mary. We appreciate it. And it looks like at the present time we have. Adjust my glasses here. Currently, we have. Well, we had $922. $922.71. Since I don't have the signatories for the check, that is, it requires the board chairperson who is on leave until sometime in spring, and requires the signature of the secretary who resigned. I had to go to Unitas and check out $300 worth of cash, which leaves our current balance at $622.71. And that's of February 3rd, 2023. So that's that part of it. Let's see. And what else should I have? Oh yeah, and we just discussed the reimbursement for the former LNA secretary for Zoom subscriptions that were automatically renewed by Zoom on her credit debit card. I just want to put in that I spent over 30 hours on the mystery of Zoom subscriptions between September to now. And it's due to lack of communication between the transition of the boards, and Zoom automatically renewed the LNA Zoom subscription in December 2022 in the amount of $149.90 using an unidentified holder's credit card number. I asked around, we couldn't find it. We thought it was Dawn's, but it wasn't. The payee could have been the interim LNA chair, which we thought it wasn't. Didn't turn out to be the LNA bank account auto payment. We didn't know, or the mystery PayPal account that LNA supposedly has, which it looks like we still do have, but which we don't know how it's linked. And let's see, an LNA member contacted the interim chair, alerting him that there may be an unexpected charge to his credit card. I was monitoring the Unitas bank account on January 29th. We received that email from Morgan Carpenter that she had been billed in 2021 and 2022 for the Zoom subscriptions. What happened was Morgan's debit card number that was on Zoom did not match the number on the invoice. And she said the bank had disabled her card due to fears of fraud. So I had to go back and take a look at the Zoom invoice history. There's no name of the card holder to whom the charge was billed to. So I went to Portland Maps, and they had the address of the card holder on Zoom. So I used that address, looked on Portland Maps, and found out that it was in fact Morgan. So it turns out 1/2 of that reimbursement will be able to be reimbursed through the EPCO Community Activity Funds. And then the 2022 Zoom subscription renewal was anticipated and approved. I mentioned that earlier. Unfortunately, the 2020 Zoom subscription expense was unanticipated, and it came out of the bank account. Since we didn't have the signatories for the check, I checked out cash. And if we would have known this, we could have applied for, if we would have known this ahead of time, we could have applied to be reimbursed through the CAF grant.
Well, a lot of that information was not easily handed over forthcoming to the interim board, and so we just had to go with what we got.
Yeah, so,
And shame on her for giving her personal debit card, and shame on her for not telling us the first time they charged her. Are you Morgan?
I'm Morgan.
Hi, Morgan. Sorry you got charged. I'm Mary Oxford. the
Yeah,
land
so-
use. We didn't get a whole lot of information when
It's all in the Google Drive.
What's that?
It's all in the Google Drive. We did everything. We had an entire transition plan. for
we
the-
didn't get any of that information.
We did what we could.
So,
And my personal debit card was given because we didn't have signatories at the time. I brought the minutes where it was voted on.
okay,
I, as the secretary, agreed to set up the account. I used my personal debit card. I did not save my information, so this is probably a Zoom issue. They just decided we're gonna get our money, as they do. But I was reimbursed. I deleted my card information, and then as time goes by, you use the LNA debit card. So there was nothing, it was just something that happened. But that's something that happens all the time. Like if you look at these, people get reimbursed all the time using personal information.
yeah, there's no problem with the
No,
reimbursement.
I'm not worried about that, but I do take issue with the idea that shame on me for doing that. And I was simply attempting to make things work because we were in a pandemic. We didn't have meetings. We needed a Zoom account.
okay,
We were using a donated account by our land use chair. We were running out of minutes, like meetings were getting cut off. Oh, yeah, it was not awesome. So having our own account was great. And I facilitated getting that done. So I don't take shame, I'm actually quite proud of that.
So anyway, we were able to link you to the account because Zoom didn't have your name, but it had the address on the billing. So we looked up the address
Wonderful.
and Portland Maps found out it was you. So what I
So
want,
here is,
great, thank
that's
you
for
all.
that, that's the original, that is sorry, that's from the bank saying, because I had to return the card in, right?
Okay,
Because I obviously had it turned off, terminated. So in the charges are there as well. Here
okay,
are the minutes where the Zoom account was approved,
great.
and you can see they're highlighted where it said that we're actually approved for $190.
Uh-huh.
Zoom had dropped the price, so it was
That's good.
140. Yeah, so that's what happened. That's our email exchange.
Okay.
Here's the original Zoom receipt that I had. And I went in and changed all this information to the Portland neighbors after the fact. They just wouldn't take the card unless it matched the address on the
Yeah.
card. So I went in and did that. So I would go back and check that again because it seems like whatever I did didn't take, which is annoying, thanks Zoom. And that was the approved
Okay,
charge.
great.
And then, yeah, and these are the two other minutes. So this is where the first mention,
Uh-huh.
and then here is where it shows that the check actually went through.
Excellent.
So here's everything for your records.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Is it okay if I keep this one?
You
too?
can have everything. Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate you doing that because it makes it easier, but we approved to reimburse you. All I have to do that. We can do that in a minute. I just wanted to finish up. the
I don't know.
Okay, but we've got everything ready for you. Okay. Thank you very much for bringing in the paperwork. That is very, very helpful. Excellent. So anyway, let's see. So to prevent something like this happening again, we want to make sure that all pending business gets transferred to the incoming board so that the LNA operations can proceed smoothly and LNA can move forward. I've spent like over 30 hours on this darn Zoom account. This pending business includes transfer of financial communications and other operational channels, as well as any updates on the same. And then I checked the Metro Refresh the Metro Refresh regional sponsorship. And the LNA chairperson applied for a Metro Refresh regional sponsorship in the amount of $4,324.53 in August of 2022. It was for 3 dumpster cleanups and a litter debris cleanup with an anticipated project completion date of October 1st, 2022. A turnover of 1 month to complete that sponsorship. We didn't hear anything about the sponsorship award, so I contacted Kayla Pruitt of the Sponsorships Program Coordinator on February 5th, 2023. We're just looking for funds to try to fill up the bank account. And to my knowledge, LNA hasn't received any funds. And in my email to Kayla, I explained that the project had not been completed and asked whether LNA would need to reapply. On February 6th, she replied that the LNA chairperson had contacted Metro in November, saying that LNA would not be able to complete the project. And Metro had not dispersed any funds. And according to Kayla, there's still funding available for the Metro Refresh Regional Fund, and maybe we could consider reapplying for it, setting up, the dumpster dates. And but we need more membership in order to be able to do that. It's just not the 4 of us or 5 of us. Let's see. PayPal, the mystery is slowly becoming unveiled, and we know that it existed, and we verified that, and so we just have to find out what accounts were linked up to it and everything, and then get the people who are not on the board off the account and people who are on the board so they can access the PayPal account. So that was part of that transition from board to board that wasn't completed. Then,
I'm sorry, may I interject on that for a second? I can probably shed some light on PayPal.
sure,
There's nobody on that account. It's simply credentials to log in, and it's probably just connected to the Unitas account. That's it. So all you have to do is get the credentials, which should be in the.
2FA. It is using 2FA, and so it looks like it's probably associated to Sabina's phone number.
And then you just have to transfer it over.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that she should have done that already. I'm pretty sure she did. So it should be in that credentials.
No,
document.
we've tried to log in and we can't get in because the 2FA.
So everything should still be in that credentials document, and there's nobody, on it, and nobody's using it, nobody has touched it. So it's just probably linked to the Unitas account. If that's an issue with the phone number, that just has to quick change, and you can probably facilitate that.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
so let's see. Signatories on checks. Currently, the 2 LNA signatories for check cashing purchases, which are the chairperson and secretary, are unavailable. I don't sign checks and I'm not on that. So you're being reimbursed via cash. I had to go and check out the cash. And the LNA chairperson, who is on leave, maternity leave until spring, and the vice chairperson resigned, so we don't have those signatories. until at least there will be one available in spring. Let's see. Cash reimbursements for the food at the January general meeting were made in cash. Reimbursements for the Zoom subscription are also being made in cash, and receipts and invoices are being kept. I spoke to bank officers at Unitas about these signatory issues. And they say when we get substitute officers in, I guess, for the vice chair, then we have to go in and get them to work with Unitas and show their signatures. And then what happened was I found out that it's possible to get a debit card for United. We voted earlier that we didn't want to do that, but we can do that, but it also takes the signatory, the 3 signatories to go in and get a debit card if we want. And I was thinking about that so the issue for Zoom doesn't come up again. And Zoom, the 20, 30 hours I spent on Zoom is trying to get Zoom to do a automatic, credit house account so they can take and extract.
You're trying to get them onto the credit card or to the checking account, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't do it.
And they don't do it. They don't do that anymore. So we may have to get a debit card in the future. And with the PayPal account, I'm wondering if they'll take the PayPal account.
Yeah, they
once we
probably
get-
will. PayPal can often take the place of a debit card. So it's kind of like you'll have 2 options available once we get that recovered.
Good, so once we get the PayPal straightened out, then we could probably use that. I don't want to get a debit card. And in the past, LNA debit card, LNA debit card, and this is before 2016, they've been used for unidentified regular $50 a month Z-House expenditures. However, the Zoom subscriptions, however, for purposes of Zoom subscription, similar expenses, the LNA board may wish to consider getting a debit card. I still am really iffy about that. This debit card would only be accessible for use by the treasurer with expenses to be pre-approved by the board with a secondary ratification by membership as appropriate. So it couldn't be used. And that's it for the treasurer's report.
What is did you ever figure out what Z House is?
Zoigle House.
Zoigle House,
Yeah.
$50 a month?
Yeah,
Okay.
prior to 2016. Party.
Okay, all right.
But that was because they had loose bylaws. And the whole thing with the bylaws was to tighten things up, tighten up, expenditures and things like that. And, it's to get rid of that type of thing.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll see about the bylaws change. So that's the report. Land use.
Should pay more than that right now.
What's
We
that?
should pay more.
Oh, okay, yeah, so you can go, sorry.
Unless you want to stay for the whole meeting.
No, I don't think you would want to do that. Let's see.
So I don't know if I want to stick to the whole meeting.
Okay, so let me get you reimbursed. Thank you for providing the documents here. Let me give you the money first, and you can just sign and put your name.
That's exactly what I was looking for, is that.
No,
Take a
they were
little
taking
secret view as
Use
well,
that.
seeing that.
I've never
I
had-
sent you the link to the.
And let
Oh,
me
even better.
Yeah.
That's more fun. Are you taking
pull
that?
out the cash here.
Just recording in
Rip when I get through
There's
this.
no
I got
access.
another envelope
Okay,
here.
how are you recording that to vote?
So,
Zoom.
20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, good. 60, 80, 200, and then 20, 40, 60, 80, 300.
Is there a quorum for the vote?
For
Is there gonna be
There's
problems with
four,
this?
there's four.
But
There's
she's
four
not on
votes.
the
There are
board.
four.
no, there's
You need three, you need a majority of four, a majority
Thank you very much. And here's the cash. I just wanted you to see it.
Give me.
Does it look good? There's 100 there. There's 100 there. And there's 100 there.
Walking out of this cash is making me
And
nervous.
here's a nice envelope to put it in.
No money clip?
Sorry. But
Where's that fancy silver paper clip?
thank you for paying for the subscription. The mystery has been solved.
I'm glad I'm on the same.
Very good. So let me get that paperwork squared away. Good, everybody's good. No questions, which is great. Thank you for the documentation.
Absolutely, anytime, anytime, I'm all about the documentation.
Okay, thank you.
See you, Morgan and Jean.
So, land use. Anything to
I
report?
have nothing to report.
Okay. Transportation,
I have nothing to report.
gosh. Email update from the board chairperson.
Knows that she's on maternity.
I know that, but
Um,
has anybody heard anything new?
No.
she sent an email out, she'd be back in spring of 2023, whatever that means.
Yeah, so
That's next month.
That's next month.
Well,
No,
no,
21st.
spring is
March 21st.
subjective.
at the general meeting next month?
I don't
Spring
know.
is subjective.
I don't know. There was no date. It was just.
I think that you two need to get together and coordinate getting him signed into the Gmail.
Yes.
If you would
Okay.
put my phone down as the phone to get contacted, it'd be a
Okay.
lot easier because it's kind of hard.
You got signed in. Right?
I think
Gmail?
you might have had a new device because it,
I created my own Gmail account.
Mm-hmm.
And
But he's
then
not into the-
what I did was in the Gmail, I was able to get into Google Documents for LNA, but aside from that, I
But
have,
not the email.
no, but not the email.
okay, that's probably because you're using your credentials. You need to use the LNA credentials to get full access. Some of the Google documents for the LNA are shared publicly,
Uh-huh.
which is something we should probably review, because if you save documents to one place, that means they are public on the internet.
Right.
When you go to log in for the first time, and I have even, when I go to log in on this, oftentimes it's like it doesn't remember me. So
Yeah,
when
I
he
s-
goes to log
I
in
assume
to
you're
the
trying to log
LNA
in on a
Gmail.
desktop
Yeah.
computer.
He's
it-
probably getting this, the
Even though the
notification.
two-factor
Okay.
thing is turned
Give me a call
off,
sometime
it still
this week,
wants,
next week.
because he's never signed
I
in
can pop by
before,
yours and
Mhm.
help you
still
sign.
wants
Okay,
a
thank you.
code.
Right,
So
I'll
it
get your trouble figured out.
contacts his phone
Okay.
and says, here's the code
right,
for whoever's trying to
And-
log in.
yep,
The
Uh,
problem is, the
Let's
person
see.
getting the code has no
Yeah.
clue who's trying.
who's trying to
log
get in, yeah, this is why you gotta like plan the stuff ahead of time.
So
I can't do Thursday
these
next week.
two have not
Okay,
gotten
that's good.
together,
I don't,
so he can get
I
logged into
can't
the
do
Gmail.
anything
Yeah.
during the week
Yeah,
until.
makes complete
after
sense to
Low
me.
this many months.
That's fine. I get off work at 5:30.
So I said, you know,
So
if
if you want me to come
my
on
phone was the
over
one,
whenever
I'm
you get home.
available
Okay.
24 hours a day to
Okay.
answer
I don't usually get
that
work
and
until
send a
6.
code out. But
Yeah,
This
he
is what I'm
works and
worried
is not
about
available
is
all the time.
I use my wife's computer. And if I go and my computer doesn't work anymore, and sometimes I use my work laptop. If I use a different computer, will it deny me access?
Yes, it will want a code because it won't recognize that computer. It will say, oh, this
So
is
it's
a new
looking-
device. I've
So it's
never
looking
seen
at
it
the MAC
before.
address of the computer then.
I don't know that they see the MAC address,
Uh-huh.
but yes, it's looking at your code. It's looking at your computer, and if you're on a different one, it's not gonna be okay.
Okay, so I'll try to get the same computer that's going to be used.
Oh, yeah, it's a cookie.
Okay, great.
So, if-
But like I say,
so like if your browser clears out its cookies every time you close it, that might be why it's losing it when you close, when you,
okay,
Ah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's stored as a cookie.
that you've logged in. So it's like, basically what's happening is the website is saying, have you logged into this before? And it looks for that cookie that says you logged in before. And then if it sees it, then if it sees that you did, or if that cookie's there, then it doesn't give you that prompt. But if you are a person that regularly cleans out your cookies, that cookie won't be there. So it'll think that's the first time you logged in. So
okay.
it's not,
So that's why oftentimes it's asked me, I don't know you.
Yep. Yep.
I said, well, been here a whole bunch of times.
yep. If you clear your cookies, websites will forget who you are.
Okay. So you still want your phone is the one to be contacted?
I got a prompt today.
That was me,
That was you.
yes. But you had no idea who to send the.
Well, I
code to.
gave Ken a call. I was like, are you trying to log in right now? Because I got the prompt while I was on break at work. I was like,
Oh,
if this is Ken, I can help
This
him
is,
right
this is,
now.
this is a
but-
place where it might be useful to like exchange each other's information so you can like, because what Nancy did is she would text me, she says, hey, I'm gonna log in. Ready for please be ready for the code.
Yeah.
And sometimes it wasn't a good time, so it didn't work. But that's how she just let me know ahead of time. Or I would see the code pop up and I'd say, hey, Nancy, are you trying to log in?
I mean,
Yep.
if you're trying to log in, it's coming up to my phone.
yes,
Feel free to give me a phone call like a minute before you like hit the enter key to log in.
Yeah,
And I'll just be like ready. I'll be like, oh, the code is this.
okay,
or you can
Okay.
snapshot it and send it back or whatever,
Yeah.
type it back, whatever.
Thank you. All this secondary verification, cookies, all this
Yeah.
stuff, in cloud.
and
it's
it's, if it remembers you, it won't ask for that secondary verification that's been turned off, but if it doesn't recognize you, it's not gonna,
I don't
Yeah.
even remember it.
it's not gonna let you in.
I have to rely on all these papers to be able to log in, because I can't remember any of this stuff. They've got complicated passwords and
Yeah, okay,
everything, which is good for security.
so,
So where in the heck?
Good for security, not for usability.
Yeah,
yeah,
so I was wondering if we could, as board members, schedule a meeting with Josie
Can give you-
Kanabi of EPCO to discuss our dilemma, which is not everything was transferred and things are still in a state of chaos, and maybe get some help from EPCO in terms of straightening out the website, the green room.
the green room, yeah,
Maybe straightening out the Facebook website. I don't know, but what I was wondering if we could form I'm just putting this out. I have no motion yet. I just run it by you guys to set up a communications committee. So if someone's not available for whatever reason, Facebook, website, MailChimp, all the messaging can go out. In terms of the meetings and stuff. So what do you guys think about that? I'm asking everybody.
Yeah, that's fine. I can.
Oh, to set up with Josie
Ask-
or setting up a,
Setting up a
Communications committee.
Ourselves. So that way, everybody knows how to access the Facebook website, MailChimp.
Yeah.
And then if there are restrictions, then we know the one person to go to remove those restrictions. So if somebody can't do MailChimp, then.
Somebody
they
else can
say,
step
"Oh,
up and
hey,
get it
can you
done."
Take over, I'm busy this week, can you do this? And then boom, somebody can do the MailChimp or the website, if something needs to be put on the website. but I don't know how to do any of these things. The
This
website,
is-
I've got some idea because I've set up, what's the name of that place? It's a common one.
WordPress.
Yeah, I've done two WordPress websites, one 7 years ago and one 10 years ago. So I know a little bit about WordPress, but that could have all changed. I absolutely know nothing about MailChimp and Facebook. I'm afraid to go on. Just because they ask so much registry information.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Facebook is a terrible website. Don't recommend it.
But I have to get a Facebook account before I can get.
Before you can manage the,
So
yeah.
I did ask, did I ask? Anyways, so the LNA Facebook page, right? I do not have access to make posts on there as the page, right? And
You weren't made an admin?
I was not made an admin.
Okay,
Were you made an admin?
I don't know. I find it very confusing and difficult to manage.
Because like I already manage a Facebook group. I can make posts on a Facebook page, but I need access
The
to do
access.
it.
Does Jasmine still have access?
I think Jasmine probably has, I think.
I
Jasmine
think
has
wasn't
access.
there some intent to reach out to Jasmine and ask her for assistance somewhere? Was I gonna do that?
I wasn't because it's like,
Well, the email she sent said she would be helpful until her term was up, which was October or September or something.
I mean, if she's still an admin, then she's still an admin.
Well, she's never been removed, I don't think, unless
Yeah.
she removed herself.
Also, Joanna asked me to bring this up to you, and then I never did because I completely forgot, but she says that her name is attached to the bank account.
yeah, she's one of the signatories.
She wants it taken off. She
Who?
wants her name removed.
Yes,
So,
but doesn't she have to go there?
yeah, she will have
Herself,
to.
she
she'll
has
have
to go there herself and have it removed. We can't remove her.
Right.
Who is that? Nancy?
Joanne
She was the-
Morel.
She was
Okay.
the vice.
Vice,
chairperson.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do any
She
of
will
that.
have to go to the bank and do it herself.
As far as we know.
Yeah. No one else can remove her. That's the whole point of having somebody be in a position is,
I think the other three have to show up too.
It's Unitas, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I don't think so. For her to remove herself, I think she can go in there and say, I want my name removed from this. I don't want to be attached to it. I think she has every ability to do that, but we certainly can't remove somebody, you know. You know,
yeah, I don't
You can
know.
go in the bank and say, I'm closing my account, take my name out of here.
I know, right?
But I can't.
Or, well, I mean, I guess could you ask the bank
Yeah.
what the process would be for that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go there.
There we go. Okay.
I'm gonna go there and get the statement before the general meeting, so I'll ask them. The person there who's been really helpful is Angie, and I forget her last name. She's been really helpful, answered all the questions I had. It's Angie Wells, ANGI Wells. She's been really, really helpful, getting the mini statements that I get, and I try to get a mini statement after each transaction and stuff, so we have records of all that. And I'm sure glad Morgan provided all that documentation.
Brad, do you have my phone number?
Who's that
Can you
person?
text me to remind me to?
Oh.
Yeah, that was Morgan Jean Feng, the people that were actually in the transition meeting to the interim board. Which they did do their best to be thorough, I must say. And I just got when I tried to transfer things to you guys, I just got overrode.
Can you edit this content?
So who would like to be on the communications committee? I would volunteer, but I'm gonna be right at the bottom of the learning curve for all this.
I'm happy to volunteer.
Okay,
Sure, I'll be on it too. I mean, this fits right in with the stuff we were talking about during the bylaws committees, talking about setting up policies and procedures committee. This would just be fit right into that. This would be a place where we create a document that is, this is how you do this thing. And that will at least allow something to occur.
Aaron?
No, sir.
Well, I mean,
It's
we
on you
should,
and
this
I
is,
then.
this is something that should also go out to the general.
Okay.
Yeah, when we figure out, and all.
This should be like something that goes out into a MailChimp announcement, probably for the next general meeting, things that we're looking to do.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mayor, do you have a key to the restroom? Thank you.
Nice. That's it.
I only have Signal right now, so if you,
Oh, Signal, Papa
Yes.
bless. You only have Signal?
that is correct.
You do not receive SMS text messages?
It, soon, they're gonna stop accepting them. They're telling me they're not gonna accept SMS soon, so I do not have an SMS solution at this time. It's also important to know that if you have Signal, when I send you messages, it will not show up in your SMS application. It will show up in your Signal application.
What does that mean?
What do you mean by the Signal app is going to stop accepting SMS messages, but you
Right.
still have your regular messages app on your phone?
It is still there. It's just, it's disabled.
You should re-enable it. so
I
you
know,
get
I'm
text
gonna have
messages.
to rename it, I know. It's an area of exploration for me to figure out, redo an SMS application. So Signal is a method of, it's a text messaging application that lets you interact with SMS, which is what most people are familiar with, but it also has an encrypted communication, so you can communicate to people securely. And they're getting rid of their SMS part of that application soon, whatever soon means.
I am disappointed they're removing SMS support from it. but it's also like-
I'm also very upset about that. Yeah.
It's also like whatever, I can just use the other app for SMS texts. It's fine. Thomas Newcomer is typing.
All right. Save to contacts.
So. Sorry, you wanted me to text you something?
Don't forget to reach out to Jasmine to get you added as an admin on Facebook.
Right. Thankfully, Signal still has the cheeky little note to self thing.
Yeah, that bathroom locks more security than a bank. Thank you very much.
As a what?
It has a note to self.
Really?
Start a new message and just search note to self and it'll pop up as a contact you can message. What it does is just send you a little, it just sends it to you.
So what's the
Really?
easiest to learn of the three? On Facebook, website, or MailChimp? What's the easiest to learn?
Facebook.
Facebook, no,
Yes.
MailChimp,
Difficult to navigate.
okay.
Takes a lot. Takes a lot.
Okay.
But I can do MailChimp, that's not too much.
But
I'm on the communications,
And I volunteer to be on the communications committee.
okay, I mean,
That way we have at least three people and.
I mean, if you can't help with the technical stuff, you can help with the drafting letters and stuff.
Okay,
Yeah, all right, cool.
and I eventually want to learn how to do all this stuff, but. I'm just too
And
busy.
you can get on the web page and change that from WordPress and put it back to a normal
I
webpage.
So I did
That
log
would be
into the
good.
WordPress admin panel because I did commit to mess with the website and fix it up, and then I never did. I can still do it.
Can you change it
I can
back?
do it. I mean, I can't, however the website was back whenever. There are not backups that I could restore from,
Okay,
right? So there's no
But
going
can,
back.
so can you take what there's there now and make it be a normal
Yes,
web page so people can, the general population.
They just
that
deleted
we're-
everything.
huh?
They deleted everything.
I
think a lot of the problem is that the general population out there that are pissed off go to that web page and they see this big unfriendly green screen
The
that is,
website is a
It's a mess.
terrible
that
template.
is terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Thomas, I don't actually know for sure that there's no backups. I can look again. But
Maybe this is something that the communication committee can look at.
we can look at it.
That'd be interesting. to find.
Did the website used to be nice or was it just
It was
less
naff.
terrible?
It was,
it was a normal web page,
It
looked
did-
like everybody
It was
else's. You
fine.
could comment.
it was navigable. It had sections. It could,
Yeah.
it was, yeah,
Yeah.
not
like-
great, but
It's
it
like,
wasn't
And the
horrible.
Facebook page has been changed. It's difficult to navigate too. You have to know
That's meta.
that's Facebook.
how you
Yeah.
want, where. you
Zuckerberg!
Yeah. That was meta mucking that around.
But yeah, if you can fix that.
Like, if we're going to mess with the website, I'd rather just install a new template for the site and just have it be like,
We're gonna have to map out what we want. Oh,
actually have to think about it,
mhm.
like.
Okay.
Like what tabs do we need? in-
What are, because there's required communications, like one of the things that there was that nasty gram that came in today that Gene sent about how the board meeting minutes hadn't been posted, and the website is one of the places where that's, or the agenda hadn't been posted. That's one of the places where it's supposed to be. Meetings are supposed to be posted on the website.
It's impossible to navigate
I-
that.
Yeah,
damn
I know.
place.
I'm aware.
And on top of that, the general.
Choir. You're preaching to the
population out
choir.
there.
You're
So
preaching to the
Gene
choir.
Fang just came in and complained about that?
Or she sent an email previously. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, at least there's somebody reading the website.
Yeah, at least somebody's good. Hey, the board isn't doing things I expect them to do. Okay, you know what? I'm actually
Well,
kind
they
of,
haven't been doing it for months.
Well, we've been attempting to do it with what's left of the board,
yeah.
and actually lots been done. That the drafting of those bylaws was an enormous amount of work.
Yes, it was.
And getting the meeting together, the general meeting for the membership to come in and vote was a lot of work. And trying to straighten out all these messes, it's still ongoing.
Okay, so on my list of stuff I need to do, I need to take a look at the website, I need to get access to the Facebook. I need to help you with the getting access to Gmail
We're-
whenever you're available.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna set up the
We'll-
communications committee
We'll
is,
set up the communications committee,
um,
which we had to see if any general membership wants to participate.
yeah, it's
Okay.
basically you gotta put word out
Okay.
for these things.
And we do have a cheeky little Slack we can make a communications committee channel in.
Yeah, chat channel, yes. Cool, good.
Then again, the Slack didn't seem to have catched on, so
Well,
perhaps it should just be a band.
there's, you gotta consider the usage, who the users are. You consider your audience. Yeah, I don't think Slack is necessarily the
Fair.
the
Yeah.
medium of
For
choice
old
for the current current
Yeah.
audience. Yes.
Yeah.
I've just got so much going on between they moved me up to department chairperson, which I did not want to take. I got all those duties besides teaching, full teaching load, and trying to straighten out a department that essentially the same thing happened
Couldn't you have told him no?
Everybody
Pat,
left.
I'm the only tenured instructor there. And I told him, I don't want
This
to.
is Lewis and Clark?
What?
Which school is this?
Clark College.
Clark? Oh my.
It's horrible when COVID hit,
Mhm.
administration didn't know what to do. And they still don't know what to do, and there's been a lot of administrative changeovers. And what happened is, because so much personnel has been changed over, you have administrative amnesia.
Yep.
Yeah, it's, similar situation to this.
Okay.
So it's just, okay.
Okay, is there
we'll
any
do what
more?
we can.
Any more business?
Yes, finances. We need to replace signatories on the bank account once elections take place. Current bank account accessors are the chairperson, who's now on maternity leave, the secretary who resigned in August. The acting secretary of public safety chairperson also resigned. Let's see. It turned out the acting secretary was never on the bank account. Okay. The vice chair resigned. I can't sign checks as treasurer, but I retained the checkbook. Okay, at least we know where the checkbook is. Bylaws and sound financial practice requires 2 signatories on checks. This is according to ORS 65.164 parentheses 2. And you can get that from the Oregon Public Law Statutes website. Then what happens is, just to get a quote off of that, the resignation of a member does not relieve the member from any obligations the member may have to the corporation as a result of obligations incurred or commitments made prior to resignation. So that means that we should be able to get some help from Jasmine to figure out what she did with the Facebook page. Hopefully, if help is wanted. And then also, we should, we should be getting more help from our chairperson here, but she's on maternity leave. So let's see. Another statute here, Oregon 65.314 says, despite the expiration of a director's term, the director continues to serve until the director's successor is elected, designated, or appointed and qualifies, or until there's a decrease in the number of directors. Okay, yeah. So what we should be doing is, once we get control over LNA Media, maybe we should start a recruitment process for LNA members for consideration for the board appointments. So, we've got these openings on the board. We need people to fill. Would you guys like to volunteer? Thomas is already appointed by the board, the January board meeting. And
So,
we need to get your appointment.
Is that going to be for vice chair or secretary? Which one would you think would be better for the board? Because I expect
Secretary.
Secretary, and it has to be voted on at the general meeting.
Yep, okay.
And if we don't have enough people to come to the general meeting, then the same as the bylaws, your SOL.
Yeah, and so Thomas also needs to be, your appointment needs to be ratified at the general meeting
Yep.
also.
So that would be,
That's what I said.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be another item that needs to be on the agenda for the general meeting.
So I suggest people try and get members to show up.
I will.
So when and where is the next general meeting going to be? We know it's going to be on a Tuesday. And it's going to be at 7 p.m. Is that true? Yeah, 7 p.m. And where are we going to have the next general membership meeting?
It's at that's activity
Church
center.
over there yet?
The Tuesday was available? I thought they didn't have Tuesday.
That's a Thursday, isn't it? Or no,
Or the Thursday.
It's
It's
a
a
Tuesday
Tuesday,
for the
yeah.
general
it's a
membership.
Tuesday.
I thought they didn't have Tuesdays available.
I've called Bob, I'll call him again tomorrow, make sure, but I don't, I'll figure it out.
I
I may have made it Thursday, thinking that we would be able to combine the two meetings. But since it's going to be Tuesday, the 24th, I will call Bob, and if it, what's that?
It's fourth Tuesday, there's, fourth Tuesday's the 28th.
The 28th? Oh, it says here the 24th. January 24th, general meeting. Hmm?
We're in February now, so the
Oh.
February 28th will be fourth Tuesday.
That's what I was trying to find my cell phone. Mine, got this one, I was going to look at the calendar, because I have no idea.
Because I know you guys wanted to combine
The fourth
meetings, which you could.
Thursday, is that what you said?
No, it's the second, historically, it's been the second Thursday of the month.
For the
For
board,
the
meetings,
board,
And the
so-
fourth Tuesday of the month. For
The
general
28th,
meetings,
February
you know.
28th.
And, people can change it if they want, but they gotta make sure that the board approves and that the general membership approves and all this other stuff. But historically, it's always been Tuesday. So if you wanted to switch and combine board and general, you would actually have to combine the board and general on a Tuesday, not create a new general meeting on a Thursday.
So glad we changed that in the new bylaws that I hope we get ratified soon.
yeah, that's the whole thing. I just want, as soon as those bylaws get voted in by the general membership, then we'll be good.
I'll bring in as many people as I can.
So just to be clear,
Okay.
it's going to be on a Tuesday.
It's always been the fourth Tuesday of
Okay.
the month.
I will make sure.
So
And this month, and be careful because, this month it's the 28th, but some months, the fourth is not always the last Tuesday of the month.
Correct.
So, when
Oh,
you look at the calendar. all
Sounds like that's the last day of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it
It is for February.
Yeah.
It's also Christopher's birthday.
is. Exactly, which is a working.
Oh, okay. Whatever. They
So
don't
is
do-
that what we were shooting for then, is to have both meetings on a Tuesday?
Well, if we were combining board with general as opposed to.
I don't think at
general-
this time that's something we need to be worried about. Right now, we're,
If I call Bob and schedule, reserve the space for the next year, which is what they want,
oh, really?
they have a calendar, and if you want that room on June blah, blah, you had better reserve it
Oh,
in perpetuity.
Yeah. I've
So
heard that
that's
before.
my, see, that's my issue, is that I need to,
oh, they want an annual year-long commitment to using that space at that time.
they have a lot of people.
Yeah,
And
okay.
like the scouts have, or whatever, whatever their thing was, a children's group has it booked every whatever for the year.
Because I was having an idea of doing like we were doing with the bylaws committee and moving the meetings around so that we're seeing more parts of Lentz.
Well, that'd be lovely, but the
Yeah.
general population wants to know, well, I thought you had it at this place every month. What's the deal?
Yeah.
And if only 5 people show up, we can continue to use this place. But if I want to reserve a place that has parking, that's one of the big deals with this
Yeah,
place, is there's no parking.
Okay.
People say, well, I live 10 miles over there. I'm gonna drive.
10
Where the hell do you
miles?
want me to park? Well, if I was you, I wouldn't walk from your house to here. Maybe in the middle of summer I might, but I walk from my house in the summertime, I walk. But
I found the 10 miles comment funny because Lentz isn't 10 miles long.
yeah, anyways, so
All the way up
Tuesday,
on Powell.
Tuesday, that's what we're shooting for.
Well, Tuesday's always been when we've been And what you can do too, I mean, if you really wanted to do inclusive community engagement, is put a survey on the Facebook page and ask people, what day of the week do you think would be the best day of the week to meet, and then operate from
I'll
that.
call
So
Bob. I'll call Bob and confirm.
do our
Tuesdays.
bylaws prevent us from changing the dates?
No, it doesn't. All it says is that we have to have, I'm sort of an expert on bylaws.
We have
So
to have X amount of
it
meetings
just
per
has to
year.
be, but it also has to be regularly scheduled, so you can't
Yeah.
like say, this month we're gonna do it on Wednesday, next month we're gonna do it on Thursday.
Yeah,
But if she calls Bob and Bob says, the Tuesdays are already reserved by the scouts,
Yeah.
but Wednesdays are open.
Yeah,
Could
we
we
could
just,
change-
we could just
yeah.
make it
Yeah,
the fourth Wednesday?
The biggest issue is what I'm hearing from neighbors is that because this is sort of like Gene Fact's question too, is because we're not posting, because we're
Yeah.
not, nobody knows that we're even still meeting, so that's, you know.
so that's all fine and dandy, and I would agree with that if people showed up.
Well, how can they show up if they don't know what's happening?
Because they've known for many months now what's happening and they haven't shown up. But I'm gonna call Bob tomorrow
Right.
and I will get it for Tuesdays.
Yeah. Because some people don't like,
Okay.
because they can't.
But-
Yeah.
I'm right.
But if Mary cannot get Tuesdays
Tuesdays.
because the scouts already have it,
Or whoever.
do we want to just change what our regular date is to like
A Wednesday or Thursday.
the last Wednesday or something like
Yeah,
that?
you can do that and then just ask membership to do secondary ratification. You can do that. You can change.
Do we have to get secondary ratification?
You would, because they would have to tell you, I know with parents sometimes, that's why I think we don't have very many people with kids. Tuesday and Wednesday is usually extracurricular activity for scouts and 4-H and whatever.
Hmm,
So that's what I found is that, we were always really busy on Tuesdays and Wednesdays when our son was younger for extracurricular
Okay.
activities. I think Robert Schultz is usually scouts, it's either Tuesday or Wednesday.
yeah, I know.
So, yeah,
That's
so, that's just the issue that would come in, so. Board meetings, you can decide, because it's a board meeting, you can decide whenever you wanna go, so long as you do
Well,
it regular,
we're-
so.
Gonna try and combine them on the
Right,
same.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah,
If the meeting, if it turns out the only available day for the meeting place is on a Thursday, would it be possible to have the board meeting at 6:30 at that point in time? Because I left work when I was supposed to, the traffic was atrocious, and I ended up being 10 minutes late, and I like
okay.
to usually be on
I
time.
I know.
Yeah, so it would be like 6:30, if we can't get the Tuesday and we get a Thursday, if it could be at 6:30, that would be great. And then I'd like to combine the general meetings too, that would make it a whole lot easier of the general and board meetings.
But if we had to, the board meeting is gonna be like, we wanna set aside like an hour for it.
Uh-huh.
So if we're not doing the board meeting until 6:30, then it's like 7:30 when we start the general, that's really late.
Mhm.
I think you could probably, because you're gonna be doing your board with the general, I mean, if you look at how Brentwood Darlington does it, and they do both, you can do a really abbreviated 6:30 to 7 meeting, and then some of the stuff is repetitive, if you just be giving your treasurer's report at the general meeting as opposed to the board meeting.
Yeah.
So you can
Okay.
actually whip through between 6:30 and 7, I think, the board meeting, if you're organized. And then, again, some of the stuff like land use would be repeated at the board and the general. If you had it 2 separate meetings, it would just be 1 report to general.
So then the board meeting is, if we combine the 2 meetings together, the board meeting would be reserved essentially for business votes.
To
So-
get
so-
pre-approved votes there.
Yeah, so
And then
pre-
be brought.
So then at the board meeting, we wouldn't have any of the board members' reports, they would just be at the general meeting.
Okay.
That would save time, yeah. Just
Okay,
trying to be more efficient instead of
yes,
chaotic.
Okay.
like things
all
are.
right, anything else?
What else did we have here? Bylaws revision approval, hopefully at the January 24th general meeting.
February meeting, yeah,
Oh,
I know. I'm right there with you. I'm
sorry,
right there with you.
sorry.
Yep.
So it's for February 28th general meeting, sorry. Let's see, increased lighting in Lents. Let's see, it would be interesting to get together with Lents Grown, which is the business association, to see if they would like to co-sign a letter to the city requesting that the city assume lighting of Lents monuments, because Mayor Wheeler there had a citywide lighting plan, Portland, the city of lights. So everybody who wanted the monuments lit, if we got together with the business association, signed a petition that the city of Portland take over the lighting of the monuments, they'd probably even do the repairs on them too to get them going, hopefully. And that way the city would pay for it. It's part of taxpayers' money. It's on taxpayers' land. And the Lents monuments would be lit.
We'll present that at the general meeting.
Okay. And then traffic safety.
Mhm.
Lent School PTA, we should contact them to see if they'd like to co-sign a letter to the Portland Bureau of Transportation requesting blinker lights at the marked crosswalk at Southeast 100 and Southeast Colgate, where the lady, our neighbor in our neighborhood, was walking the two dogs, and the two dogs got ran over and killed.
Do a lot of kids cross there?
What's that?
Do a lot of school kids cross
Yeah.
there?
A lot of people cross there.
Okay.
It's,
I love those blinking crosswalks where you push the button and the lights come on and blink. I love
well,
those.
I want to get it, ask them too, if they could set up lighting on either side, because the lighting is also for there. And I don't know, I've never seen one with a blinky light in the middle of the island, because they have an island there. for the
I don't think they
pedestrians.
have that.
But the lady who got hit, they ran in the back of the car, and
Car was stopped, yeah.
and the car was stopped for and pushed the car and everything over the top of the lady, the two dogs, and over the island, and that truck just ran up over across the median
Yeah.
and over into the fence of the neighbor. That still hasn't been.
Well, you can lower speed limits and you can put blinking lights out. It's not gonna stop drunk driving and
No,
all those people that are texting and getting their cigarettes and then plow into somebody.
It always cracks me up about people talking about pedestrians and texting and stuff. It's like, they're really not the problem. When a
Yeah.
pedestrian runs into something, they might, something might get dinged or
Like,
whatever.
oh, I walked
It's
into
the drivers that are not paying attention. When they run into something, bad things happen. There's a slight difference in responsibility here.
yeah, it's 100 up to 200 pounds of wetware
Yes.
versus.
Yeah.
Versus
I'm
2
with
tons
you.
of moving.
And
cars in
she
there.
sees the car stop, she's got no clue that somebody behind isn't gonna stop. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
So for future general meeting items, there's this Safe Dressed Village that's coming
Mm-hmm,
to a location near us,
mm-hmm.
over off of, what is it,
It's
Reedway?
my understanding when that land was signed over to the city or the county or whoever owns it, it was stated that it could not ever be used as livable land.
And then plus the,
If it did, it would revert back to whoever gave it to them. So I don't know who they and them and all of that is, but it's my understanding that that's,
Maybe this is another committee that needs to be put together.
That should be, like, a deed covenant like that should be viewable.
correct.
and then there's the other issue too, that's.
Yeah, that would be public record, wouldn't it?
That would be public record,
Yeah.
yes, because it's the city's deed.
Then the other thing about that site, it was used to put toxic waste on.
Yeah,
and they had a DEQ report on it earlier, but they haven't done a
They
recent.
haven't told us
Yeah, they haven't
what
done
the
a recent.
last thing is.
Yeah, they haven't done a recent DEQ report. If we had,
But Dan Ryan's assured you that it's going to happen.
well, that's why we should invite the land use and transportation district liaison Hector Rodriguez Ruiz to a general meeting to discuss his role, because he's supposed to be our champion to get things settled with the city.
Mhm.
And
From his
then
name in here.
maybe we could invite sometime Dana Nardi, who's the Lentz Business District Coordinator for Venture Portland, to talk about grant opportunities at a meeting. You know, we wouldn't have all these guys at the same meeting, but, you know, separate meetings, just some ideas. So one's just to see, because like you said, Mary, they said they're gonna do it regardless, and I don't think they can. So we'll see if we can get help. And then when the guy shows up to discuss his role, we'll say, hey, superhero, we need your help.
Okay,
You know, because you can't put people on a toxic waste site. Plus, they're doing the floodplain renewal. Those people were in here last year. Remember that? They came in, oh, we're gonna be doing a floodplain renewal. And I believe, what do you call it, was part of that Beggar's Kick wasn't it?
I don't know about Beggar's Tip. It's pretty much been destroyed by the homeless. Building camps in it.
Yeah, it's, not well, right now it's underwater, but yeah, it's summertime. It's just,
I don't know, they're there now.
Where's Beggar's Chick? Is that underneath the?
It is
90s?
111th and between Foster and Holgate.
It's how many acres? It's a nice. big-
It's a pretty good
if you
spot.
take your bike and you head.
Springwater.
If
On the
you-
Springwater.
Okay, yeah, so head
if
out, head east on Springwater, you go right through it.
If you head
There's a little
east,
country store over here. Beggar's Tip is over here.
if you head east on Harold and there's the 104th stop
36.
sign, and then the next stop sign is 111th. Make a right-hand turn and go down there, and you'll see a couple of houses. And then right now, it's just a big water puddle and a lot of blackberry bushes and a bramble of different vegetation. And that's on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side is a bunch of RV repair places and stuff. And it's that whole area between that and the auto recyclers on the corner of Foster and 111th.
It goes
That's what
out that
Beggar's
way.
Kick is on the right there. Yes?
If you want to see the permitting, it's the address is 10550 Southeast Freeway,
10550 Southeast.
Southeast Freeway. They actually gave it an address. And if you go
That's
into
the site
sites,
that they want to put the safe list.
Could you repeat that again?
yeah, one Portland map. So you'll see the, this is actually for
10.
that Same Rest Village. So that's their address now, 10550 Southeast Freeway. But they haven't, like Mary said, it's zoned for open space. It's in a neighborhood stabilization program area. You'll see that there's a permit ongoing too for floodplain restoration there also. Not maybe right where they are, but right,
Then plus, you know, all the people in that Reedway area, they have this really high flood insurance that they have to have. And all the new homes that have been built on that area are up 8 feet off the ground. And then they're gonna put all these houseless people, trying to get them to house in these temporary sheds. And they've got a toxic waste dump underneath, they're in a floodplain. And it's just like, why are you doing this? It doesn't even make sense. Just build the housing and move them into the housing, or give them a year's voucher for a hotel or an apartment. What the heck? But it is just high craziness. I don't understand any of it. And I think LNA had that event last year where they were talking, all the neighbors came out, they had some music and food they provided.
Oh,
And talked to the local residents, the ones that live right there on the street, and everybody went out and took a look at it. And most people just don't want it there because it's just an inappropriate place for it. But the city does whatever the city wants, right?
The other problem that's coming up with it is it's low barrier and it's by referral only. So if you've read any of the stuff about what's going on in Peninsula Crossing, where there's some people that have put in SRV where the goats are out in North Portland. There are people at that camp out in North Portland who said, we would love to be in a Safe Rest Village, but they're not eligible to be in that Safe Rest Village. And what we're finding.
they haven't been invited.
Yeah,
You have to be invited to come in.
And what we're finding out too is that we have a lot, Livestrong Housing Team, PDX Saints, Sisters of the Road, we found people who are living in the corridor right now who would like to live in a Safe Rest Village, and probably people would be happy to have them as neighbors, and just working class, maybe with some mental issues, but a lot of them are actually going to work every day. And they're told they're not eligible because the referrals have to come from Portland Street Response, which only responds to people in mental health crisis, Portland Police, which only responds to criminals, or then the navigation centers. So that's where people are getting a little antsy. It's like, are you going to be importing houses, people from other neighborhoods into our neighborhoods, while our houseless are still going to be living in tents? So that became an issue as well, too, because actually Lindstrom and LNLA and PDX Saints have done a lot of outreach with the community about this housed and unhoused. It's not just with housed people, so.
And
Yeah.
and the city just won't give people a straight answer. They won't even say that they got the DBQ report. Or let us know that they have a yes or no on it. So it'd be interesting to get our superhero in. Yeah, to get Hector Rodriguez Ruiz in here and see what he could do. We can
Okay.
even make him a Lentz cake, right? L on it.
Lentz cake?
We can even put some LEDs into it, make it light up too. Every superhero has a cake, right?
Okay, so,
That-
yeah,
I think that's it.
I just have one question for the bylaws revision. Are you all going to be doing hybrid voting too on it? Are you okay with that?
What's
The board? I mean, are you
voting
gonna,
via Zoom?
or are you gonna have, just everybody has to show up on February 28th or whatever?
I would prefer that people would show up.
Are you in person? Are you talking like if we have people on Zoom?
Yeah, I mean, or are we gonna do bylaws for revision? I mean, if you're in a bigger space, it seems in person would be okay, then people would be, I mean,
We're still gonna have people that object to showing up, so Zoom might be the method of choice for those people,
So that would be a hybrid. vote.
So the hybrid.
That's fine, right?
which is, I mean, it's,
You
I
gotta
think
do
it's
it
gonna be a
together,
public vote. I
yeah.
don't think it's gonna be a ballot vote. So I mean,
So if it is, do we have a way to record people's votes who come in via Zoom, whether they say yay or
Well,
nay?
yeah, on the chat.
they can type it in chat. I
Oh,
vote
okay.
yeah.
Great, great. And the chat's automatically recorded.
Yeah, the chat would be recorded as
Yeah.
part of the, yes,
Oh,
it is.
great, excellent.
Indeed,
Yeah.
it actually is. You can get a transcript of, it is indeed saved and
Oh, that'd be
recorded.
great.
Yeah, definitely.
So
So
that's what we're
they'll be
gonna,
able to vote by Zoom.
and then would there be a way for them to be able to look at the bylaws? Because we don't, I guess we have.
They've been posted
on
online
Facebook.
numerous
Yeah,
times.
okay, so I can just tell them to look at Facebook and look at the.
Yeah, they're on Facebook.
Because I felt uncomfortable, I mean, I could have gotten people actually at the last meeting, but just saying, hey, you can have a free meal, you know, they would have come in.
That was the whole purpose of providing a free meal,
Yeah,
was to get people.
But I also
to
didn't, I didn't want people saying later on social media and the rest that all these people came out. I mean, they were Lens residents, they would have signed in, it would have been fine, but I didn't want everybody saying, oh, Joanne brought in her friends to just go and sign.
so
Would you
everybody,
just-
I wouldn't care. I would've been fine with that.
He's gonna bring his
I'm gonna
friends.
do.
I don't have friends, I'm too needy. What did you do? It's true.
What did you do?
Well, ask those two ladies, they just jumped all over me.
Yeah.
Those two
Yeah.
over there.
They didn't
Snarky.
like me one bit.
Yep. I think
'Cause
that was
was
a,
mean.
you made a snarky comment and they responded appropriately.
Well, you know, they better get thicker skin. Come on. It's a mean world out there. Okay,
And snowflakes melt easily.
Yeah, I don't think they melted. That was the melt.
they,
That was,
they
that was,
snarky right back. Well, okay then.
yeah.
Right at it. All right.
I guess for me, though, the problem is that they had a year to do. a
That's what I
finance-
said. Why didn't she
No, no,
talk
I'm not
about
about that, I'm talking about the finances, that they did this schmancy fancy finance report that nobody really needed to see. With a bar graph, and it's like, we needed to see who signs the checks, we needed to see receipts, not just,
Watch this over here and you forget about that.
right, yeah. So.
Okay, so are we finished?
Uh,
Okay, I make a motion
I
to
second it.
adjourn this meeting.
All right,
I vote aye.
meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.
Where's the off button?
Thanks again, Mary, for setting up the site here. And for the keys to the restroom.
Oh, you're welcome.